Hello, my Astro family. This is Lada from astrolada.com here with your weekly horoscope from the 23rd to the 9th of September 2019. And I have a beautiful news for you. A spectacular astrological cosmic event is happening next week, which is rare, happens about once every 19 months only. And this is the birth of Venus. The birth of Venus is going to be a very positive period on the different levels in the life of every person. Every person will be touched in some way in a certain area, depending on their sun sign is or moon or ascendant sign is. We're going to talk about that in the second part of the video, but in the first, I want to present you what a beautiful event this is. When Venus is reborn, this means that Venus becomes visible. It hasn't been visible for a few months. And now, for the first time, you're going to be able to see it after sunset rising on the western, basically after sunset, you can see it on the western horizon. And this is called the birth of a night Venus. Venus as a night star. And this will bring more resources, more finances to the world and to everyone on different levels, because Venus, as we know in astrology, rules money. So now people, companies, businesses can manifest materially better, and they can manifest new ideas because it's the birth of something new, the birth of new ideas for financial success, for material improvement and well-being. But Venus also rules love. So there'll be the birth of a lot of new relationships that's happening. And these are not only relationships that are sexual, these are relationships that can be business, that can be important friendships that define your life, that will be connected through love, through community, through good and basically very positive communication, because Venus is becoming visible in its own sign. It's like the queen is being born or is coming back to her kingdom after she's been missing for some time, and she's been renewed and she's full of love again and potential. Venus rules all the wonderful things in life that we want to enjoy. It's money, it's luxuries, it's good food, it's good clothes, it's enjoyment, entertainment, it's love, it's connecting, it's good social bonding with others. So all of those things will be rejuvenated for us cosmically everywhere, on the earth. And by the way, Roman Kolev, the foremost astrologer on ancient astrology, Babylonian, Chaldean, Sumerian, Greek, is making a webinar on the 29th of September, which is 30% off, which is on Venus, the 4 phases of Venus, according to ancient astrological knowledge and the ancient sages. And he's going to teach you whether you have a Venus evening star or morning star. What does it mean, or whether you have invisible Venus, which apparently makes people very sexual and having healing abilities, while one Venus, if you have Venus morning star, you got married and have material success early in life, Venus evening star in the second part of life. So it will be an amazing webinar. Check it out. And now let's see, as I said, on generally everywhere in the world, this Venus being reborn will improve finances, the markets very likely as well. And Venus is being born in its own sign. You can see here, it's in the sign of Libra. And it becomes visible while at the same time, and the whole week is becoming visible. It's whole week that its influence is present. While the same week is when there is a new moon in Libra, which again indicates new beginnings. So double influence here, new beginnings through Venus, new beginnings through the sun. The sun brings new activities, actions connected in regards to our career, connected in regards to our vision for our life, while Venus brings the opportunities and the necessary resources to fulfill those. So powerful week of new beginnings. It's all happening in the cardinal sign of Libra. Cardinal signs are about action. So we're going to be taking action. We're not just going to be exploring, thinking. No, now you're going to get an impulse, the ideas, the excitement that also pushes to act. And usually it will be by feedback from another person that those new ideas or impetuses for actions are being instilled in us, because the sign of Libra is the sign of exchange with another person. You can hear a feedback, you can communicate with someone, you can brainstorm with someone, or you can just share an idea with someone and they reflect back on you. And the rapport that you build will be like And the feedback that you hear will be the trigger for those new activities. So if you can be as social as possible and share with someone, this is the ideal time, because it will spur you into some very productive and beautiful action. Libra is also the sign of changing because it's a cardinal sign. Cardinal means to change radically in one direction, and it focuses action in one direction as well. But it also means to change our values, to change what we consider valuable, what we consider worthy, because our values are changing somehow, what we appreciate, how we like it. That's why we're taking, and we're reevaluating certain actions, and that's why we're taking other strategic, one direction focused actions as well that will be very productive for the next months. And Venus, with this birth of Venus, it's going to affect us for the next 9 months. Because when Venus gets reborn as an evening star, it stays in that phase for 9 months. And during that time, during those 9 months, all relationships will be under the influence of all new relationships that start, all already existing relationships. They'll have the taste, business or personal ones, they'll have the taste of Venus being born in Libra. It's like you're under the queen now of relationship and resources and finances. Interpersonal relationship and money is going to be in Libra. So it's even though it's just for a month in Libra, its influence stays imprinted on the earth and on us for the next 9 months. So it's like the queen now is in Libra in her own kingdom. She can do a lot of good. And this birth is like a Venus. It's like a debutante in those, glamorous and elegant balls. She's elegant. She's a veritable Grace Kelly. By the way, Grace Kelly had Venus in Libra. She's elegant, she's sophisticated, and our approach to love and relationships will also be more classical, more refined, like Venus in Libra is for the next 9 months. It's not going to be like some Sweet 16 or a Miley Cyrus bash crazy one, it's with lots of drugs and partying. No, this is an elegant affair, which means that relationships over the next 9 months, generally over the world, will be more agreeable, will be more diplomatic, more mature. Venus being reborn as an evening star has a very mature influence, not like an old energy, mature, but more full of considerations. She first thinks and then acts. So people generally all over the world will not feel so pushed by their impulses. Oh, I want that, give me that. This is more Venus, morning star. This is when you really want something, you first act and then you think on the consequences. The feelings are so strong, you go after it. But now when Venus is evening star, we become more reasonable, more cautious, a bit more introverted and introspective with our feelings. We are not so outwardly expressive for the next 9 months with our feelings. And if new relationships start, they might take a bit longer to develop in this next 9-month period. Because Venus evening star, everyone is influenced by it for the next 9 months. People show and unfold their feelings in a slower, more cautious way, more traditional way. And also I would advise you starting a new relationship, be more classically romantic, be more classically refined in your relationships. But at the same time, Venus is receiving a square from Saturn, this Venus being born. And so is the new moon in Libra. So the new ideas that we're starting, the new relationships, the new financial ideas, anything, it might be new career, any new beginnings, which are very powerful this week, the next 2 weeks that are starting, they will be tempered by Saturn. The hard aspect of Saturn, what is Saturn? Saturn is the planet of rules, regulations, be cautious, don't rush. And we'll have to take into consideration that. You start new things, but you're not rushing into that. You're going over them, you're thinking them, deliberating them, checking them if they fulfill the moral codes or the traditions of the time or the requirements of the government. Any rules have to be followed. This is the command of Saturn, follow rules. Don't turn the order around. Yes, start new things, but always respect the authority, respect the traditions. And what else is that? Like Saturn, by the way, is the regent of Libra. It's exalted there where Venus is becoming visible. So Venus, as we call it in astrology, receives Saturn. and receive Saturn, in meaning that Saturn before exaltation was known as regency. So the actual king of Libra is Saturn, interestingly enough, and he feels very happy there. And when he aspects Venus being born in the sign of Libra, which is her own sign, but Saturn is the Uber region. Venus is like the princess being born in her own kingdom, becoming a debutante in her own kingdom. But Saturn is the king in Libra. And Venus, because she receives Saturn, will respect it. So we internally will feel like we want to respect the rules, which is Saturn, the regulations, that we want to go about our relationships and decision making, because Venus is the planet of decision making, evaluating something from both sides in a more traditional, conservative way, by keeping the rules, by respecting authority and established traditions already, and moral norms as well. So whatever you're starting, new business ideas, financial activities, careers, relationships, collaborations, starting from next week, and I would say almost for the whole next 9 months, because the imprint of this Venus stays for 9 months with us. Do it by respecting the Saturn rules. As I said, it's like Saturn is the king, and he's saying, okay, my daughter, you're a debutante, and this classic party is happening for you. Now let's see, no crazy behaviors here, no kiss and tells and silly childish things. Be respectable, be a lady, or be, that's what's required of all of us, whether men or women, when it comes to relationships, to business partnerships, and to be a bit more patient, because Saturn says, again, things will happen a bit slower. You have to overcome some obstacles. You have to go through certain, repeated efforts as well, because Saturn wants us to repeat a few times over and over. You'd have to check with all the rules and regulations and honor them. And that's the only way we can be successful with resources and finances in the next few months, because of this Venus rising in the classic sign of Libra, which is also very rule-oriented and tradition-oriented, squaring Saturn. All right. And of course, when Venus goes visible, it's going to affect everyone in different areas of their life in some positive way. Of course, there's Saturn, some obstacle will be overcome, but don't worry, Venus is loving Saturn because it's in its sign of exaltation. And some of us might have to overcome our own. Saturn also represents our own restrictions, inner insecurities, because Saturn is very strong. And those inner insecurities will have to overcome them in order to instigate those new beginnings. But we'll have to keep in mind our previous experience. Saturn is our experience from the past. The things that we've seen that they don't work, or they give us problems, we have to rely on tried and tested methods. And we'll have to be, as I said, more introspective with our feelings, with our approaches. And as I said, feelings are revealed a bit slower in the Venus evening star period. So now let's see. But also Venus is becoming visible. The background constellation is the constellation of the Virgin, the celestial Virgin. It's the sign, tropical sign of Libra, where Venus loves to be. So as I said, very powerful, important, good relationships will be born. They'll have some extra duty or responsibility with them because of Saturn. They'll have the need to take on more, or if new financial opportunities are born for you with Venus becoming visible, they'll come with the need for extra work or extra responsibilities or more respectability, more limited time for fun and exciting things for yourself. But they give something really strong, something very positive, because Venus, when it's in its own sign, whatever it creates when it's being born, it's lasting, it's stable, it's good quality, So actually, if you meet someone in the coming weeks, if you start some partnership, if you start a new business idea, if you keep the rules of Saturn, as I said, it will become extremely, I believe, and I've seen this happen, but Venus will, I don't know how many years, again, it will become visible in 8 years in its own sign. So if you keep these rules, something very beautiful, stable, and enjoyable will come and stay in your life. So now let's see for the different signs. For Aries, Venus is being reborn together with the new moon in Libra in the 7th house. So if you're Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, this 7th house is all about relationships. So you in particular, Aries, you can start a new business partnership, for example. That can be very materially beneficial, but that you need to keep, you know, the rules of Saturn, as I said as well. Respectability, morality, honesty there. You have to develop it slowly, step by step, you know. It might take a bit of time to show those feelings, but it will be lasting, it will be good. If you start a new personal relationship as well, the same matters for that, because for a few areas, if you're single, that can be a time a new relationship is born. Or if you're married already or in a committed relationship, it can be like a rebirth of the commitment. With some extra responsibilities that come as well. It can be like a rebirth of new projects together, rebirth of your relationships to new projects or something exciting that you want to do together with your partner. There can be a new beginning in the life of your partner as well, which is very auspicious. Again, they have to proceed more cautiously with more restraint. You know, sorry, my mind went off a little bit. And it can be also the appearance of someone, because Venus is a female figure, some auspicious benefactor coming into your life, or a partner, someone you can collaborate with, that brings you more popularity, that brings you more resources as well. So good things are happening for you there, Aries. And of course, this Venus becoming visible in Libra is becoming visible in the constellation of the celestial Virgin, Virgo. So there's the influence of that constellation as well, which is very pure. So relationship, business, or personal that starts now, it's actually one of the wings of the celestial Virgin. Will be marked by purity, by more decorum, will be marked by even a spiritual connection of some sort. All right. So if you are Taurus, this new moon in Libra and the birth of Venus are happening in your 6th house. First of all, for Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising, they'll start feeling much better from next week, from this week. They'll start feeling their energies coming back. They'll start feeling like a flux of positive vibration, like a flux of like they're coming out of the shadows, because their planet was invisible till now, which means that you might have been in the shadows. You might have not been able, whatever you do, to manifest it, to materialize it correctly, because in invisible phase, you're still in a preparation phase, or you can't manifest materially. But now your queen is being born in one kingdom that she's happy to be in Libra, in her other kingdom. Your queen has 2 kingdoms. So she's not in your kingdom, in Taurus, but she's being born in her sister kingdom, where she loves to be. And you're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel like you can come out on the scene again, manifest, make things happen. They can be the birth for some of you of new ideas connected to career. Some of you can get like a new job, for example, because Libra is your 6th house. They can be opportunities like a new, you can, like a new colleague can appear, or colleagues in your life. A new business or work project can appear, which brings more resources and finances, because Venus is connected to that. Also, they can be the birth of a new decision in your life connected to your health, because Venus rules decisions, remember. Especially in Libra, it will be some kind of, it requires some balancing, some more temperate. Libra is a temperate sign that evaluates what is going to harm my health, what is not, and you kind of clearly see it now when Venus gets born in the 6th house, and you're like, okay, I will commit to having a more balanced approach to my health, having a more balanced approach to my daily routines and to my work routines as well. And of course, Saturn is making a square to Venus and to the new moon. So those new beginnings that can happen in regards to your career, to your health, to your daily routines, they can be an indication that some obstacles have to be overcome, or certain rules have to be followed as well. And you have to proceed more slower, step by step, but whatever is built now in regards to your health, as a new beginning in regards to, or in the sphere, if you're in the sphere of medical, work, if you're in the sphere of health work of any sort, of service, whatever is born will be lasting and very good quality, and it will stay and will be very good for you. But you have to follow the rules of Saturn, as I said, step by step, without rushing too much, without getting too impetuous, but you naturally have this inclination now. Also, the sixth house is pets. For some of you, that can be the birth of a new pet or the coming of a new pet of some sort. Or it's also employees. If you're a boss yourself, your employees, they can be the birth of the coming, hiring. It's fantastic time. If you want to hire someone new, maybe a software designer or someone to do your plumbing or someone to take care of your children, whatever. These are all the sixth house people that work for you, that you hire as employees, so that you manage in some sort. Those people, now, if you get such new ones, I guarantee you they'll be very loyal, they'll be very committed, because Venus is in her own sign. It's strong, it's stable, it gives good results. They will follow the rules, because Saturn is also making a square there. They might be, it might happen slower than you expect, but it will happen. All right. And the new moon, of course, in Libra is bringing all new beginnings there, and new actions that you take, because your values are changing, how you perceive your health, how you perceive your work is changing, and you're making very focused efforts. All right. And if you're Gemini, this new moon and the birth of Venus is happening in your fifth house. What does it mean? They can be the birth of new love if you're single, or they can be the rebirth of an existing love. That can be, if, for example, if you didn't have much romance in your life because you were busy with work or whatever, and your love life, or even not love life, but having fun is the fifth house, was suffering, or it was not really happening. Now you're going to see an increase in that. You're going to see Venus being born there. That will be like a rebirth of your love life, or a new love can appear. And if new love interest appears now, I tell you, it can be very lasting. It can be very agreeable, gentle, cooperative. It can be very balanced relationship because of the Libra influence, the Venus influence. And because Saturn squares Venus, it might develop a bit slower. The expression of feeling can take longer, to unfold, but it can be very lasting and committed in the long term. Also, it can be a fantastic time for you to go and have some classical enjoyment, entertainment of some culture, art, which is all Venusian in your fifth house. All those planets, they enjoy Libra-ish things. Get together, Libra is to get together with other people, to talk, to go on a date, to go on an art exhibition, to go on something more cultural, more classy, more artistic as well. So there will be the birth of such events for you. Or if you're a creative person yourself, there will be a birth of a new product, of a new idea, of a new executive, because the fifth house is our ideas, how we birth ideas. So there will be the birth of a new idea or a new creative project of yours. That again can be very classically beautiful, can be with very good quality as well, because Venus being in its own sign. And of course, it might take a bit longer to fulfill because of the Saturn square, and it might encounter you have to overcome certain obstacles in regards to finding the resources for those things. But if you go by the necessary steps, one by one, by the protocol, as they say, by the rule book, everything will happen. Also in romantic relationship, go by the rule book. If the new romantic relationship happens now, if you want to revive your personal relationship, do something romantic in a Libra style. Go to a concert together, go to a restaurant, go to a art exhibition, go to a nice hotel, Libra, that is, maybe with some more artistic influence on it. But also Venus is in the constellation of the Virgin. So if a romantic experience appears as well, it might have more purity in it, a spiritual note to it as well. Or if a creative inspiration is born within you now, you have it will have almost like a tinge of the spiritual, because the celestial Virgin is an angel, actually. Almost like those ideas that come to you creative, they will have the blessings of a higher angelic realms with them. They will have like the embrace of the purity of the celestial Virgin. And if you decide to enjoy any art or anything more, cultural, again, you find yourself that you are drawn and that you come across exhibitions or whatever, or music or performances that have the tinge that are very classical, that are very harmonious for the soul, and that have a tinge of spiritual connotation in them, a tinge of like celestial virgin is very healing as well and pure. Also, fifth house is children. There can be some powerful new beginnings in the life of your children, Gemini. Or if you're trying to get pregnant, Venus becoming visible in your fifth house can be a fantastic time for you, especially if your moon or ascendant is in Gemini. So new beginnings in the life of your children or lovers or loved ones as well. New abilities to have more fun, to enjoy yourself, and any even creative activities that you do can be a source of more. For example, you might have your own brand where you're creating it. You might have your own business where you're creating it, and Venus being born there, you're going to be able to manifest it, make visible results from it, see visible results from it now. All right. Then we have Cancer. If you're Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, Venus is becoming visible together with the new moon, new beginnings, in your fourth house of home and family and properties. And this is good because for some Cancer, if you're trying to move, now they can be the birth of the beautiful home. Venus is beautiful in Libra, harmonious, attractive home. If you're trying to manifest something for your family, now it can be born in a harmonious way. If there was difficulties in your relationships with your family, your mother or whatever, your extended family as well. Now Venus being born in the fourth house of Libra, the diplomat, you'll be able to smooth those problems in the relationships. You'll be able to improve it by better communication, by equally splitting the roles, by speaking out what exactly you need, and by honoring. Now you're going to feel, Cancers, that you're going to start honoring your feelings more. Venus becoming visible in your fourth house, the house of feelings, of your needs. You're going to feel like a healing of the feelings as well of some sort. And also like that can indicate a good fortunate relocation for some of you in the next 9 months, because Venus is being born in your fourth house of family in the next 9 months for you. And it stays in that phase 9 months. I mean, she's not going to stay in your fourth house for 9 months. But wherever Venus is born, this is the impact of Venus for the next 9 months. So expect in the next 9 months good things happening in your personal life, with family, with difficulties that you've had with a parent or whatever. This can be eased, relieved. There can be a new home, a relocation, a new family member. There can be a new vehicle, which is the fourth house as well. They can be getting in touch with your needs as well, and honoring them. All right. And there is Capricorn is making a square from the seventh house to all those, the new moon in your fourth house, Venus becoming visible. So you might have to, whatever those new beginnings are starting in your home, Cancer, they'll have to be tempered by certain delays, maybe because of a partner or contract that gets a little bit delayed, or because if you're moving to a new place, it can be very lasting and you can find a great place now, or relocate or make your home more beautiful. But you need to be patient and do it slowly, step by step. And instead of finding some dodgy handyman, find the established traditional ones, for example, which is Saturn. It requires, and if you're signing some document or contract in connection to home and property, do everything right with that property, with those documents, because Saturn wants us to do things right. If you're as well, you have to honor the wishes of your partner. There might be some kind of in regards to what you wish. The fourth house is what our wishes and emotional needs are. They can clash a little bit because you're giving rebirth to your needs and wishes now, and you want to honor them, but you also want to honor at the same time the wishes of the partner, because Venus in the sign of Libra, where Saturn is exalted, wants to honor Saturn. So if there's some resistance from a partner towards you, towards your plans for the home or the family or place of living, or the living conditions, or about your emotional needs as a woman or as a man. Just be a bit more patient, and you have to take into consideration those and honor them too. If you're Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, the Venus is being born in your third house, so is the new moon there. The third house is the house of uh, teammates, workmates, associates, friends, playmates, schoolmates, brothers and sisters and siblings, neighbors. So all those people, some of those people can become a great source of something good being born in your life. Maybe a workmate can help you in some way. Maybe a sibling who's been having problems, these problems can disappear. The relationship can be improved, because Venus in Libra is about, diplomacy, better communication, improving the harmony of a relationship with a sibling, with a neighbor, with a workmate of some sort as well, with someone who is associate of yours. They can be the birth of a new friendship as well, with Venus being born there, possibly with a woman, but someone who is beneficial for you, who brings lasting value to you, because Venus in Libra is very strong and positive. And it might take slower for this relationship to evolve, but it's going to be good quality, and it's going to bring good lasting influences in your life. Also, the third house is associates, as I said, or working in a team, small group. So you might team up with a small group of people and develop something, and you're going to collaborate somehow, or you're going to work in a small business group of some sort, or a new project connected with working in a small team can happen for you. And the third house is very business house. They can be the birth of new business possibility, commercial opportunities, the house of commerce, commercial matters, sales. They can be, if you're a salesman or someone in sales, Venus being born in the new moon in your third house, it'd be a rejuvenation of this area. New sales, new income of resources through that. Also, third house is self-made business. So if you have self-made business, again, new ideas. I'm glad I'm Leo moon. New ideas, new clients can come as well, reaching new audience, especially if you're bringing out some product connected to Venus, to women. If you can, it's fantastic time. If you're bringing out a product, commercial, business, whatever, connected to women, to art, to beauty, to relationships. Third house is writing. Now it's a time to publish a book or to publish an article if you wanted to reach more people, if you want to make a presentation in front of others, Leos, if you want to record something for media, videos, to present yourself in some way, or to using your speaking, visual or vocal or verbal presentations of any sorts, or written ones, this is the time to do it. It will be accepted in a good, positive way. It will receive, you'll get new ideas, but also new opportunities through that. You will receive, and also they can be the birth of a new trip for you. Venus being born in your third house can bring a nice, pleasant trip to somewhere for a few days as well. And they can be the birth of a new relationships, as I said, but these relationships can happen through colleagues, or they can happen through siblings or relatives, or through teammates, playmates of some sort. They can be, for some of you, can be the birth of a new website, or someone can be the birth of a new business idea. Someone can be the birth of a new, that brings more financial resources, of a new product, of a new book, of a new written project, the birth of a new, if you want to publish something, do any marketing campaigns, advertising. Venus being born now, next week, especially after the new moon. The new moon is on the 29th. So after the new moon, on the 28th. So on the 20th, from the 30th already, fantastic for you to go after those things. All right. What else do we have? If you are Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, there is the birth of Venus in your second house. So if your finance, and the new moon in your second house. So if your finances, Virgo, were somehow invisible till now, because Venus rules your resources, it was invisible. Maybe if you had some stagnation with finances, with resources, with securing new supplies or whatever it is that is tangible, material assets. Well, now that this beautiful Venus gets born again as an evening star, you'll be able to manifest those. You'll be able to manifest cash or money or resources that you need. Or Venus, the second house is the birth of a new wardrobe. The second house is how you dress yourself, is how you your style, the birth of a new style, which is more classical. But this style that is born is not trashy. It's more refined, it's more classically beautiful. So any of you that are trying to change your wardrobe, that are trying to change your look, that are changing your styles and preferences, a more refined one is being born, even without you trying to do this. It will just happen naturally within you. Your values are being reborn to higher, more aesthetic, highest standards. And of course, Saturn is in your in the fifth house, squaring all those planets. So those new business ideas or ideas that bring more finances for you, new opportunities, will be developed slowly over the next 9 months. More slowly. Don't rush too much into them. Make sure that whatever financial transactions you're doing, yes, they'll be lasting, they'll bring increase financially for you, but you have to do them with a bit of restraint, with a bit of, do them in the right way, follow the protocol, the rules as well. Don't rush too much, and I don't think you'll feel like rushing too much anyway. And if they develop a bit slower, it's okay. This is how the birth of this Venus and this new moon is supposed to go, because of the more delaying or the more tasting influence of Saturn, which wants you to do it in the socially acceptable way, according to moral rules. So no pyramid schemes, no get fast rich schemes, but beautiful, beautiful opportunities are coming in regards to resources, in regards to assets, to materials, to if you're an artist, for example, you can get new artistic flair and tastes now that are being born, that are more tamed and that are more refined as well. All right, it can be the birth of some new beautiful objects as well for you, something that you find very desirable and attractive, that starts appearing for you in the coming. And actually, as I said, this influence lasts for 9 months after that. So this, whatever is being born now in the next 2 weeks, will affect you for 9 months and will unfold for 9 months. They can be the birth of new taste for food as well. Like your Venus gets born in your second house. So for example, you might decide and you can develop a taste, because Venus in its own sign draws us to things that are healthier for us. Because it's very natural Venus. When we're healthy, a natural healthy Venus is drawn to natural foods. So you can, for example, forego tastes for more harmful chemical junky food, and a new taste, a new preference for healthier food, for more balanced food and way of eating can appear for you as well. Tempered with Saturn, of course, with more self-discipline. Saturn will help for that. And especially Saturn from the fifth house is giving you now the ability, and it's been there for 2 years almost, but it continues to give you the ability for more self-restraint when it comes to self-enjoyment and fun. And that can help you also with kind of the birth of a new diet for you of some sort, almost like a new lifestyle of how you eat. All right. So if you're Libra, wow, for you Libras, you feel it so strongly, especially if you are someone who has Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising in the middle degrees of Libra, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 degrees, but all Libras will feel this powerful event of Venus being born in their sign. It's not going to happen for many years again. So you Libras are the pampered kids of the universe. And it's going to last for the next 9 months, because this Venus phase continues for 9 months. So what is being born in your life now? Pay attention, because Venus really wants to bring you its bounty. The bounty of Venus is good relationships, improved relationships. Maybe for some of you, there will be the birth of a new love, rebirth of a love. Some of you will be the birth of a new appearance as well, because the first house is connected to physical appearance. It's connected to, how you perceive yourself, especially if it's your ascendant, your moon, and also your sun in Libra. There will be, and Venus rules you. Venus was invisible for a few months. While Venus was invisible, you might have felt in the background somehow, Libras. You might have felt that you're trying to manifest and make things happen, but an invisible, your ruler, your queen was invisible. So you can't really, take executive decisions, so manifest them in the material world so well or so brilliantly until Venus becomes visible, and it's getting born in your sign, in her own kingdom. You're the one with power now to initiate new beginnings. You're the ones that are the movers and shakers for the next 2 weeks. And that I believe for the next 9 months as well. Venus will give birth to opportunities, new financial opportunities for you, because it's the planet of money as well, and resources and luxuries and pleasures. And it can give the birth of new Venusian ideas. So like an important woman appearing in your life, or important relationship, or if you're in career which is connected to fashion, to art, to beauty, to music, to food. The birth of this Venus in your sign will guarantee such kind of if you're starting something connected to this business, or if you have already, that you're going to start manifesting in that area, that you're going to start seeing results there, that you're going to financial as well that. And you see so many planets are in your sign. The new moon in Libra as well. This is when the sun and the moon are together. It's totally it totally recharges your batteries again. It allows you to start all over again. So, oops, sorry. So you Libras will be the belle of the ball. You'll be the prom queen or the prom king this week, or actually for the next 9 months. Something powerful is being born in your life, but it's something beautiful. The most beautiful astrological event these 2 years is happening in your sign, and you're favored with the beautiful gifts of Venus that I talked about. I don't think that we even have a choice not to welcome that, that it's free choice. A lot of the events that happen in our life are fated, and now come good fated events for you, with Venus being born. Welcome them and enjoy them. And yes, of course, there is Saturn making a square to the new moon in Libra, and to Venus being born in Libra. So you have to go about all those things with a bit more patience, with more dedication, with the willingness to try hard and work on it to manifest it fully. And also with a sense of more restraint as well that is recommended for you. There might be a bit of resistance that come from your family, for example, that come from close people, because Saturn is in the 4th house. But there is no stopping this new rebirth in you. There is no, and basically will be reborn in a way that is more elegant, that is more attractive, in a grayscale type of style, and with class, like grayscale, So that's the energy you're to witness about. The relationships in your life will become also more balanced, more tempered, more mature, and agreeable of some sort. All right. So if you're Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, there is a new moon and Venus is being born in your 12th house. So there will be secret gifts that this Venus and the new moon are bringing you. Something that is not immediately obvious to everyone around you. Something that brings you joy in your inner private sanctum, in your heart of hearts, as they call it, that it joys your heart, that brings joy to your heart. For some of you, that can be the birth of a new private affair, because the 12th house is the house of bed pleasures and secret private affairs. I mean, I hope it's not the case if you are married or in a relationship, but sometimes things like that start privately, or a yearning for someone can get born that you're still not showing to the world, that you're keeping private. But that is giving so much joy to your heart. The 12th house is also the house of foreign places. With Venus being born there, something beautiful can come to you from a foreign place, a foreigner, or someone that is far away from you. Or if you're starting some project or some activity in a foreign country as well, or if you're trying to relocate to a foreign country, in the next 9 months, this can come true because of this new moon and the Venus that is being born in your 12th house, because it's active for 9 months there. So faraway countries, or also the 12th house is the imagination. They can be the gift of some new imaginative idea. If you're a musician, writer of music, writer of films, of scripts, that you need to spend time alone behind the scenes with your own imagination and inspiration from the invisible world, you'll start feeling that it's flowing into you, that it's now when Venus becomes visible there, the birth of such new ideas and creations of yours. It's also very spiritual, the 12th house. When Venus gets born in your 12th house, it indicates that a new spiritual interest that brings you a lot of joy, a new spiritual insight can be born that makes you be more harmonious and balanced, because it is the sign of Libra as well. All right. And other such kind of joys for the soul. If you are, and also the 12th house is expenses. It can indicate expenses, but on things that you're really enjoying. It might be holidays, it might be things that you just spend for the pleasure of it, but it's considered as something good. It's considered as, you know, as something that gives joy to your heart, to your soul. All right, the next sign is Sagittarius. If your sun, moon, or rising in Sagittarius, the new moon and Venus are being born in your 11th house. This can be the birth of a new beautiful friendship. It might be a friendship with a woman, someone with feminine energy or artistic energy, or very refined, cultured energy like Venus is. It might be the start of a new business venture as well, because the 11th house is one of the houses of gains and earnings, and especially business. If you want to reach out larger audiences, more fans or more clients, this is the 11th house as well, or larger popular appeal. The birth of Venus in your 11th house will allow for that, not only allow, but it will instigate it. You can create new contacts, networks, new opportunities will be born for gains and earning, very financially positive indication here, and they will develop over the next 9 months. Yes, there will be some obstacles to overcome, because Saturn is making square both to Venus becoming visible and to the new moon in Libra. And Saturn is about having a bit more self-restraint, going a bit slower about it, going about taking into consideration especially material matters of material importance, having to be more cautious financially. But whatever you are starting now as a new business idea, or as a new idea for gains, whether bonuses or whatever, or rewards, which is the 8th house, sorry, the 11th house, it will be lasting, it will be good. It will give its results a bit slower though. And some rewards will be born. Some of you might receive some recognition of a sort now with Venus born there. Some of you might receive some kind of bonus or congratulations or awards of any sort, or something that you've been working towards in a long way. Now you're going to receive the results of it. This is the 11th house, rewards and results. Fantastic. And as I said, friendships will be very important. Some new connections, new contacts that will be beneficial in the long term, that are good for you, that are classically considered good. All right, or maybe there will be the possibility for you to visit now some social events, because the 11th house is where people gather together to enjoy something or to do something together, like the start of a new project, community project, the start of you participating in some group or some society organization with like-minded people that brings you joy, that brings you happiness, which is what Venus likes to do, that brings you opportunities for material enrichment and growth as well, and to fulfill your long-term goals and wishes as well. All right, if you're Capricorn, the birth of Venus and the new moon are happening in your 10th house. A very active time for you. The 10th house is the house of action, go, do things. It's your house. The 10th house has the energy of Capricorn. So now you'll notice that that respect is being born for you. That more respect, maybe a new, better reputation. You can improve something in your career. You can basically take your career to the next level now. A new business opportunity or business or work opportunity, career and opportunity can appear for you with Venus being born in your 10th house, which will be very auspicious, because this is a good thing that's happening there. There might be some resistance, and the resistance is coming from you and your own fears, because Saturn is making a square from your sign in Capricorn to those new beginnings in regards to your social status, in regards to your career. There might be for some of you the birth of a new boss, like the coming of a new female boss, or the improvement of a situation with the boss or authority or institution figure, but it's for good again. And there can be some resistance and the need for having extra responsibilities and duties. Those new births of Venus with career, the opportunity to improve your social status, your reputation, it's coming, but they're coming with extra efforts because of Saturn. But Venus will honor you, those new responsibilities, and you will honor Venus as well, because of the reception that is happening between Saturn and Venus as well. So new work projects, new careers as well for some of you. It's a fantastic time to open up a new business, for example, to start a new job now. To wait till the new moon passes. So maybe from the 30th of September onwards is fantastic. What else is 10th house? As I said, it's maybe if you're your own boss, you can be the one that's instigating and starting new business activities of some sort, or new structure that will be more harmonious. If you're in any career that is Venusian, which is art, beauty, working with women, with relationships, with music, with design of any sort, Venus being born in your 10th house not only will give birth to new such creative artistic ideas, new projects, but it will really, your career in those fields will start manifesting, and you start feeling visible, you start feeling heard. All right, so if you're Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, Venus is becoming visible together with the new moon in the 9th house. The birth of Venus is granting you with an opportunity for travel, maybe the birth of a big plan for a journey. Some of you might be inspired towards taking a beautiful journey around the world, and this will be good. If you have any such inspirations, go for them. They will bring something good for you, because Venus is being born in her own sign. It brings lasting positive results. Some of you might get the inspiration for the birth of a new course that they start, a line of teaching and learning. They can be inspired, and they can find joy and pleasure in new higher knowledge, like astrology, or like, whatever. It can be anything that is higher wisdom, higher knowledge. Or some of you might decide to take some, the opportunity will appear to take some courses, crash courses, webinars, seminars, online or in live, or teaching opportunities will appear for some of you. I'm Aquarius rising, so I'm launching new teaching projects, because the 9th house is to teach, to give wisdom. So you're going to start feeling, if you're a coach, if you're a teacher of any sort, if you're a counselor, advisor of any sort, if you're a preacher, a teacher, you'll notice that now new ideas are coming to you, new respect, new opportunity to do what you love and to be rewarded for what you love in those areas, or new course of study, as I said. 9th house is foreign countries as well, or to relocate to foreign countries, to travel to foreign countries. So if you're business in any export, import, or tourism, and you're Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, again, you're going to see very good results. And I think they'll stay with you for the next 9 months. Everything I'm talking about will be very active for 9 months for you, because of this Venus being born in the 9th house. Or you can visit some country and suddenly you can feel like, wow, so much inspiration, this place feels great. So any travels starting from next week, I would say go for it, or any opportunity to study something as well. They can be the birth of a love as well, which is foreign, in a foreign country, because of Venus. They are with a foreigner, or with someone who is more intellectual, erudite, more intelligent person, more refined person of some sort. You can notice that there is the birth of new friendships or acquaintances with people in more elegant social structure. Elegant, the 9th house is also more educated people that are more esteemed, that are more respected in some sorts, that some teacher. They can be the birth of a new teacher in your life, a new inspiration. Some of you might find a book or read a book on love or relationship, Venus, that inspires you to have a new vision of the world, a new world vision about money. Venus is money. New opportunities can be born for you in foreign countries with foreign people. New financial opportunities. Love can be born in the process, for some of you, in the process of teaching or learning or institutions of higher knowledge and such, but also more culture, as I said, is coming into your life, more refinement, more wisdom and knowledge that you can be recognized for, or that you can feel honored for, because Venus gives us good things. All right, and Pisces, if your sun, moon, or ascendant in Pisces, Venus is being born together with the new moon in your 8th house. So now that can be someone, fantastic thing if you are someone who is looking for, or even if you're not looking, it can come to you. Basically, material support that can come to you from another. For example, your partner can get a bonus, your partner can get promoted. And that increases, gives birth to new financial opportunities there. Or new opportunities can come to you because of a business contact of some sort. Or because of an inheritance. For some of you, it can be the birth of an inheritance to receive something from another, some gift that you have not worked for. It comes to you. You know, this can be also the birth of improved intimacy. The 8th house is the house of deep bonding with another on a deep level, and sexuality and intimacy. So if there's been some blockage there with your intimacy and sex life, or the ability to feel very connected on a deep level with a partner, there will be a rebirth there. There can be intense love that happens for some of you, or they can be the birth of a new but secret love, because the 8th house is secret. So something, they can be the birth of something more, you know, and it's gonna feel good because Venus is in its own sign, and it's gonna be good for you, but it might not be so obvious to others. So it might have to be more private relationship. You can receive money from another, you can receive money from, or a bank loan, for example, or some stipend or whatever, or some alimony, or some investment can come to you from another person. You can get new ideas as well that are materially beneficial for you, connected to using other people's resources or knowledge or wisdom or finances and resources. So if you work in banking, if you work with other people's money, you can start noticing an increase, an improvement of your career, for example, now. And the 8th house, so powerful. It's about healings of trauma, especially sexual trauma from past lifetime, or betrayal of trust that happened. With Venus being born there, they can be you exploring such things, but healing them as well. And almost like a blessing. In 8th house, there can be deep psychological and physical healings that happen. And when the best benefic Venus is being born there, it can be like a blessing from God almost. And it's being born in the wing, in the constellation of the Celestial Virgin, in the wing. And Celestial Virgin is represented like an angel. So in the wing of the angel, it's somewhere here around her wing. So they can be the birth of a healing given to you through Mother Mary, the Celestial Virgin, given to you through the angels on a deep level from past trauma and blockages. And also they can be asking you receive, Pisces, because Venus being born in your 8th house with the new moon. If you need support and help from others, if you need to cooperate with others, if you need a psychologist, you can find a great psychologist or a great astrologer now to help you detangle certain mysteries, to give this healing. But it's again like a gift from the angels and from God for you. So there we go. These are the 12 signs and the birth of Venus for you. Again, I invite you to join Rumen Kolev on his webinar on Venus, according to the secret doctrine of the ancient sages on Venus, and Venus in all its phases. So looking forward to next week, and I love you. Enjoy the birth, this most beautiful celestial event, the birth of Venus. Bye-bye.